Wuthering Waves' first year anniversary had tons of reveals, and spoiler alert, from an update POV, this is massive. Without further ado though, let's break down everything we've been shown and all the goodies that we're being given. First, we're introduced to a cinematic of Solon in the snow, crossing treacherous waters, waking up in a canoe, climbing atop a mountain, then flying down it, and finally waking up amongst friends and hugging each other. We're then introduced to the official stream with Solon and Bawang. Now, after a quick recap of all the adventures thus far, the one-word summary they use to describe this year's development is challenge, but because they believe that they've used it to improve and better their game, which I do agree. They're also still looking to improve with things like ray tracing, but want to remain diligent in improving their gameplay and visuals as well. Next, Solon says he loves us, and thank you, Solon, we love you too. But then confirmed, they announced that Everflowing with You 2.3 is the actual definitive anniversary patch. Beyond this, they also announced a brand new logo for Wuthering Waves 2.3 and 2 resonators that are going to be introduced too. Beyond this, they also teased that there will be anniversary themed events, limited time activities, major system updates and optimization, alongside anniversary celebrations. But after all this, we were finally shown the Fury Arpeggio summer preview trailer. Now, the first thing we were shown is the cute resonator cubes with characters like Shorekeeper, Carlotta, Jinxie, and Brant. And then we transitioned straight into the Zany showcase, who has confirmed been announced to be a shield-based character while also wielding a claymore. Now, this character honestly looks amazing. Despite having a shield and a sword, she for some reason decides to summon a chair to take a break mid-battle. But if this didn't sound crazy enough, she also has a second form with beast horns, which looks amazing. And this is coupled alongside absolutely insane greatsword animations akin to Monster Hunter or games like that. Next, we were shown Ciaccona. She's an arrow-based bard character who has a microphone-looking stand in combat too. Next, we were shown that she has a focus on singing. However, moving along, we saw an absolutely insane hand-to-hand combat scene with Zany, and other content like Ciaccona playing an instrument, alongside Shorekeeper playing the piano. Next, we were then officially teased about Zany and her Blazing Nightwalker title, and given more lore-specific details as to how she is. Actually breaking down the character, they showed that she has a shield, she works in the Vault Security Department, which of course we already knew, but revealed officially that she's a Spectral Gauntlet character that does end up using her shield to build energy with each hit. However, once she uses her Resonance skill, it transforms this into a greatsword, which then deals massive damage. In addition to this, once Zany ultimates, she loosens her ties and enters Inferno mode, and when she's in this form, everything changes and she deals powerful strikes with her greatsword until the final strike, where she goes back into her shield form. Now, to be clear, she does have many clock motifs to not only look cool, but also to fit into the theme of her character, where she keeps perfect control of time. In terms of role, they did slate Zany as a main DPS who triggers all Spectrofrazzle characters and then converts these into her own energy during the enhanced phase. Moving from this, she also focuses on gauntlets as her weapon, and with it, of course, they announced her new 5-star weapon, Blazing Justice. It does look very cool as it has moving animations all the time, which do look very high quality. In addition to this, despite her wearing the gauntlet on one arm, will erupt with a blazing flame when she uses her greatsword, and speaking candidly, this is sick. Now, after this, they did announce that Zany's favorite hobby is work, and Solon did also make a joke about how maybe Bawang's favorite hobby should also be work. Anyways, Zany was also announced to have one pot pasta as her special dish, and then we moved along to Ciaccona, who is in complete contrast to Zany. The first thing we were shown is her singing and voice, but then we were officially shown the fact that she is an arrow 5-star healing bard type character. Now, first and foremost, she does have an instrument, and in this case, she plays a lute while also having other instruments too. They finally got into her combat, which is focused on performances. Before that though, they did show that she uses a pistol, which honestly doesn't really make sense as she doesn't shoot anything pretty much during her combat. But they did illustrate the fact that she supports her allies with her music, while also creating clones of herself that stay. Now, in case you thought that maybe the microphone would transform or something like that, that isn't the case, where her microphone is actually a sword. It does let her dash through enemies and leave a clone behind that maybe potentially takes aggro from what we've seen, But another neat and honestly pretty cute feature is that her clones that she spawns will continue her show and perform even if you're off field with her. Next, one of the coolest aspects of her kit is the fact that when you hold down her basic attack, you can launch an attack that generates a vortex on hit, pulling enemies together. Her Resonance Liberation also takes off her coat, and after the fact, she leads a performance with her clones. Now, based on what we've seen, you can trigger quick time events to the beat to deal powerful damage and negative statuses to enemies. However, we aren't entirely sure what these are yet. Furthermore, regarding her ultimate, just like as I mentioned earlier with her clones, if you decide to swap off a field after her ultimate is used, her show will still continue. Now, in terms of what the ultimate actually provides, they did mention that this is more focused on rapid concerto effect and providing beneficial effects to the team, but more specifically, they mean that arrow damage bonuses will be featured on your squad, alongside things like her outro skill giving arrow erosion damage bonuses. Now, after being shown her new 5-star Woodland Aria pistol, we did see the fact that the gun does technically shimmer and has a breeze/wind-like flow that surrounds it, which also admittedly looks pretty cool. Moving from this, they also announced her story in version 2.3, and they gave us a bit of a teaser as to what to expect. They did reveal the fact that they'll be showcasing her story in a different chapter-based system as opposed to before. After this, we were shown a redemption code, of which I'll put on screen now, aka first anniversary. But seriously, after this, it did look like Boeing needed a break. We were then introduced to Wa, who did announce a lot of events and activities. First, they showcased the Cube Resonator event, which a lot of people I'm sure have seen at this point. But in terms of the actual content of the event, it looks really cool. We get to upgrade and play with the cube as they act as additional supports to our combat. But following this, we were shown where we would be using these resonators in combat, and that's against a Bowser. Now, in terms of the event, it looks pretty interesting as it does come with things like fighting and unique skills/abilities that you'll need to upgrade through clearing content in the event. But overall, a very cool looking combat activity. Now, in addition to this, the cubes themselves actually have pretty impactful changes or adjustments to their kit, with things like Camellia Cube being able to be paired with Jinxi's Cube to unleash a spinning light beam attack. Completing the event will give you an exclusive sigil alongside asteroids and other typical rewards you can expect. But one of the coolest other things they announced for this event is that there was co-op stages announced for certain parts of this event. Moving from this, they announced the QB Derby and QB Derby warm-up. Rovers will train with their cube buddies for rewards, giving you 10 Radiant Tides, a Phantom Chest Mimic, a Flight Aspect, but more importantly, they also announced a daily login event for the warm-up. They showcased the fact that 12 cubes will compete on a track, and Rovers can support their favorite cube as they compete in a bracket. After this, they showcased a cube-themed photo event and a Let's Snap a Photo Together event in cube mode. Next, they showcased the fact that you could take photos in cube mode and revisit special memories in cube form, while also announcing that returning Rovers and new Rovers have a special benefit just for them. But even before that, they did want to announce first the date for the upcoming featured banner, including Zany and her weapon, with phase 1 having Jian, Yinlin, Jeje, Zhangli Yao. Now, they did make the distinction that the guarantee count is shared between these banners, but after these banners end, Ciaccona will finally take the stage. After her and her weapon have finished, however, they announced phase 2 of the banner with Jinxi, Changli, Carlotta, Rochia, and Brant with their weapons too. Now, after this, they also announced the fact that the roguelike event is being revamped, and they're adding a new permanent gameplay event known as Dreaming Deep. Each level in this activity plays like a film script, and your choices in each level will actually dictate the story and ending you receive. Now, as the bond between your allies grow and you compete in this content, you of course will get stronger and also gain access to the new synergy blast that they've done in the past. Now, in addition to this, the event will not only have the typical asteroid reward we've had in the past, but it'll also showcase 2 new rewards, with one being the new Phantom Nightmare Crownless in red form. Next, they also announced the new tactical hologram with Lorelei and Fleur-de-Lis. And in version 2.3, the trial store is adding a new item in the form of Phantom Nimbus Wraith. Following this, they also announced a 7-day login event, and after the first login event, another limited login event for Ciaccona, where you get 300 asteroids and a new item modifier alongside other rewards. Next, however, they showed an exploration event with rewards making a return, but then gave us a number of very interesting facts, like the fact that Rovers have accumulated over 2.5 billion Ascension materials, challenged Inferno Rider the most with 277 million attempts, and the fact that we've beaten up over 406 million Clangbangs. Now, after they revealed the fact that Verena has restored over 20 trillion health this year, they did announce an anniversary in numbers web event so you could see exactly how your year went as well. Following this, they gave us another redemption code with Everflowing, and then we were introduced to W from the dev team. They announced a lot of changes for this patch, including the ability for us to change the cosmetics of gliders in flight appearances, and if you participate in the warm-up that I mentioned earlier, you'll actually gain access to a new set of wings that also have a special look and trail effect. Next, they announced the Echo Data Modify, which is finally being added to prevent the tiresomeness of farming. In version 2.3, you can use this modifier to modify unenhanced 5-star echoes and directly pick a main stat that you want. This will be obtainable through events and an item exchange live with 2.3. They're also giving us mail with 3 free modifiers and 2 free crystal solvents. In addition to this change, they're also announcing the fact that the battle passes will have these modifiers in them, while also improving methods for gaining materials and allowing players to instantly transition to activities/farming locations to clear certain objectives on the battle pass. Next, they're also removing the cooldown for bosses, which is something we've all wanted this whole time, but then they also showcase the fact that you'll get a happy birthday message in game when it's our actual birthday, which is actually pretty cool. The message itself has a lot of surprises, and you can actually invite a resonator of your choice for the day to get their specific special birthday message, and alongside this, of course, will be a special supermassive cake. Among this, you'll also receive other gifts for your birthday, including a trinket called the Star that shines for you, which is just a crown that you can put on your head. If you visit the plushie squad, however, they'll also sing a birthday song for you. Now, if your birthday's already gone by, you might be fearful of the fact that you might have to wait an entire year for this to come back, but actually once the feature goes live, everyone will, for their first year, unlock this reward no matter when your birthday is for this specific moment in particular. Now, they also announced that the returnee system was revamped, with returning rovers receiving increased rewards for content to farm up and get caught up. But then they announced another returnee reward for players who have been missing for 60 days as opposed to 30, with a free 10 pull. They also announced several returnee quests that give you upgrade materials, and a survey added that will reward you with asteroids if you complete it. Next, they also announced a special anniversary invitation event where players can invite each other to complete activities to get asteroids and other rewards. And then we were shown a glossary, which is an upgrade to the story. This edition allows us to look up specific key terms or phrases by clicking on a hyperlink to give context and clues for what they're specifically talking about. They're also changing the optimization for the game on PC, with it being reduced in size, with plans of course to do the same for mobile. Now, after other optimization traces like ray tracing and FPS settings being introduced more, they finally showcased the special anniversary gift for all players on the 23rd of May. More specifically, they announced an event page for 10 Radiant Tides and an exclusive anniversary avatar, but then they gave us a heads up to the fact that the pre-registration rewards will expire on the 22nd, so make sure to claim them. But then they also announced brand new anniversary point exchanges that give you night market tokens or things like Radiant Tides, among things like the modifiers and other upgrade materials. They also announced that rare rewards from previous events will also be made available in this activity, and that includes things like the projections, phantoms, etc. Following this, they also announced that Wuthering Waves will be releasing on Steam in 2.3, while also looking to improve things like the quest tracking, with them being aware of the fact that tracking currently swapping between quests is really annoying, and they hope to fix that in the future. Then we were given a special surprise with a summer outfit for 2.4, releasing outfits for 2 characters in the form of Changli and COLLAB. Now, in addition to this, they also gave us an outfit voucher, which can be used for 300 Lunite, alongside the additional launch discount for the price of these skins. And then they gave us the 3rd and final redemption code with you. We were then introduced to anniversary exclusive activities. They announced the fact that they'll be giving us developer anniversary reviews from the team over the year. Now, in these, they did say that these would be a look in how the development team has fared behind the scenes, including things like a behind the scenes look at their mess ups and how they dealt with it. But also they announced a new photography event for 2.3 that I think is pretty cool. This is just your typical take a photo in Wuthering Waves type event. However, the twist here was that one featured entry will have the chance to appear as an in-game loading screen, which is honestly pretty cool. Next, they announced merch updates for Wuthering Waves 2 with things like a cannaaaa chibi, and things like the resonator cubes now being merch, with them being stackable and honestly very cute. Next, to everyone's shock, they announced a Cyberpunk Edgerunners collab in 2026, which is absolutely ridiculous and honestly the highlight of the stream for me. But then they gave us one final surprise, with that being the fact that in 2.4, we're being introduced to a new map in Renacida. That's going to be it for today's video though, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Good night.